Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today I'm just going to do a brief video about the fragrances I took on vacation. This is not the typical type of vacation that fragrance lovers talk about on YouTube. It wasn't a tropical vacation or a beach vacation. It's to the mountains, or the hills, if you will. We went to the Black Hills in South Dakota, so it was a cooler, more dry temperature, more arid. We wanted to go there because we were going somewhere on sort of on the way, and also my son, who's 20, had never been there yet, and it's a great place to show the kids if you have the opportunity. There's lots of great family things to do, and it's a very beautiful environment. I actually worked one summer at Sylvan Lake Lodge up in the Black Hills. So I stayed there like in employee housing the whole summer and everything. I was 19. It was a great experience. I met some friends, not that I stay in touch with them still, but had some wonderful life experiences, and it was just really memorable and such a beautiful place to be. And I really appreciated that life experience. I wanted to curate a whole collection of fragrances to take that would make me feel happy, relaxed, and also help me create memories of the trip. So let's start with some of the ones I brought. I knew I wanted to bring some summery scents because it was mid to late August still, and the temperatures were still in the 80s and sometimes 90s up there. It was really nice in the evening because it's sort of drier there. There's less humidity. But during the day, it was kind of warm some days. So at night, it was so beautiful and cooled off. I'm trying to remember the fragrance I wore for the drives out there, and I can't really remember. But one that I brought, and one of the first ones I wore, was Nassau by Alfred Ritchy. Now, I heard about this from Greta Beth, her YouTube channel, and I will link it below in the description. She talks about this fragrance quite a lot, or she used to. It's sweet. It is a little bit Caribbean, but it doesn't smell sunscreeny. It's got sort of like a marshmallow, coconut, just a really sweet scent to it. Let me look up the note. Okay, I knew I was forgetting the notes. There's raspberry and pear and bergamot and coconut in the top notes of Nassau. And then the middle notes are whipped cream, lavender, praline, and pistachio. So the whipped cream and the praline really make it sweet too. And the lavender sort of balances it out, but you don't really smell the lavender. I'll tell you that much. And then the base notes are vanilla, musk, ambergris, cedar, and moss. And I really love a base with a little bit of cedar and musk. Of course, I love vanilla. So this has a wonderful dry down. It's so pretty. It's great for summer. I think you could wear it year round, but for me, this really says summer. So that was Nassau, and I wore that probably on like the first day we were there, that we checked into our Airbnb, and the next morning I sprayed this. And then the other one that I sprayed, I think in conjunction with that, then the first day of our actual vacationing, once we were up there, because we didn't get there till like 6 at night to the Airbnb. So the next day we started doing the tourist things like Mount Rushmore. I pulled out Goldfield and Banks Sunset Hour. This is a fruity cocktail, warm, kind of dry woods smell. It's got peach scent to it, even though I don't see, oh yeah, there's the peach. There is peach in the notes. Kwandong Desert Peach, raspberry, cashmere wood, mandarin, orange, sandalwood, pink pepper, jasmine, sambac, ginger, and benzoin. Sunset Hour is so pretty. It's really one of my favorites. I'm going to have to probably get a full bottle. This is just a decant. But it's kind of like a nice, I would equate this to like a body splash smell, but in a stronger potency. So I just love Sunset Hour. I mean, I could wear this all the time. I could wear this year round. So that is Sunset Hour by Goldfield and Banks. My most worn, probably, and this was unexpected, was Mind Games Mentor. And I had only brought this little 2 ml sample and almost used it all up. This is strong, and it's not what you would expect someone to wear in the summer. It's got more of like the coffee. It does have like a fruity oud scent to it to me. I know it has oud in it. but it does have a little bit of the coffee notes and the warmth to it. Top notes are plum, caramel, and Italian lemon. And then the mid notes are coffee, amber, resin, and cassis. And base notes are tonka bean, sandalwood, and oud. Despite this being sort of a warmer smelling scent, it does perform really nicely in summer weather. So I didn't have any problem wearing it, even when it was warm outside. I just didn't overspray. I'm not an oversprayer to begin with. So I would just do a few sprays of this on my clothing so that it would last longer and I could smell it throughout the day. So Mentor from Mind Games is really a favorite of mine from the house. I think it's in the black bottle, so maybe it's more targeted to men, but I love it. So I tend to like things that have plum and cassis in them, and then a little bit of oud. Sandalwood is never bad either for me. So that's Mentor, and I wore that a lot more than I expected because of its strength, and I just wanted to be surrounded by my own scent bubble even when we were back at our Airbnb, because you're not in your own home, but I wanted to smell like I was home myself. So Mentor was very frequently worn. I wore this almost every day, at least just a little bit on the trip. The other stronger scents that I wore, and this is a pair that I like to do together. After I went to the Parfums de Marly masterclass, I got decants of Pegasus and Delina Exclusif because I loved how they went together, how they smelled together. And Pegasus is just beautiful. I feel like you can wear this every day, even though it is in the male targeted line. This has some vanilla, bitter almond, I believe, and sandalwood. So it dries down to those kind of notes, and it doesn't smell cloying sweet vanilla, but it smells a little bit sweet in the beginning. And then you get just an herbal freshness with sandalwood. Like I said, the almonds in there too. I just find it pleasing and fresh and clean. And then when you add Delina Exclusif, it really knocks it out of the park. It makes it a femme fatale combo. So you only need a little bit of Delina Exclusif when you mix it with Pegasus, and they go really well together. And I did only wear this once and not very much because I didn't want to offend people I was around while we were touring and doing things at national monuments and things like that. So it was fun to be scented, but not extremely. Another old favorite that I brought is Burberry Goddess. This is just my comfort scent. It's vanilla and vanilla and vanilla, and it just smells good. I think it's very crowd pleasing, and it smells girly without being too frou-frou la la. It is just something that I jived with right away when I smelled it for the first time. I have always loved the smell of vanilla and lavender together. So when I first smelled this perfume, I was just in love with it. And I still really like it. I don't wear it that often, as you see. I don't even have the large bottle. I just have a couple decants that I will take with me or travel or spray on. Eventually I may get the big bottle. But for now, I am just still experimenting across the board with fragrance in total. I like to buy decants and samples and test things out a lot more than having large bottles of things. So there's my dog. I did bring some other little decants. I brought a little sample of Libre Intense, knowing that this was strong and fresh and cuts through anything. I feel like Libre Intense is just really strong and overpowering with that vanilla bourbon, orange blossom, and then does Libre have lavender in it? I can't remember. It certainly does have lavender. It has lavender in the top and the mid notes. So I was questioning myself for some reason because I haven't looked at the notes of this for a while. But I used to have a full bottle of this, and I actually sold it on Mercari because it is just so strong. I have a couple decants of this. I have more than this, a bigger decant. I just found myself not wearing it that much because it was so strong for me. I just can't handle too much fragrance, I guess. I like to wear less sprays or something more mild. But this is definitely something that will cut through stink. So I brought it in case I wanted to be really overpowering, you know, strong and smell really good. And I ended up using this, I think, once when I went to bed. It's a nice bedtime scent too. Another one I brought, and I brought a decant of this, not this full bottle, but this is Orpheon by Diptyque. This is another clean, clean girl, yet kind of sexy, fresh, powdery, very powdery scent. I think this has purple florals. I think it has iris or violet. But Orpheon is so beautiful. It lasts a long time. For me, it lasts all day if I spray it around my neck and my hair, clothes. It's really refreshing. I find this performs well in heat in the summer, and I will definitely continue wearing it into the fall because of that nice tobacco note. Orpheon, just, that's why I have a full bottle. Even though it's a small one, I did get a full bottle of this because I really fell in love with it. And it's a great powdery scent. So I did end up wearing this one day too. I think I wore this in combination with, Pegasus, which I'm not sure if I would recommend. Let's smell them together right now. They're okay, but this smells really good. So Orpheon by Diptyque. I also brought a couple samples of musky light scents like Marshmallow Musk by IRFE, Maison IRFE. I just have a sample of this. I'm trying to decide if I like it that much. I think I don't. I like another one that's similar to this more, which is Gate 17 by Morph. So I brought that sample. I'm almost done with that sample, and I have a 10 ml of Gate 17. They're both musky, soft, pillowy, cloud-like, feminine. They just smell like your skin, but better, but in a nice, let's spray this. Marshmallow Musk is soft. It has a little bit of lavender. And Gate 17 is soft also, but it has a little bit of beeswax. So it has a little bit more of a resinous feel to it. And I prefer Gate 17 over Marshmallow Musk. So I brought those. And the last few, I brought a sample of Mind Games The Forward. And I also brought my decant of Turquoise Water by Precious Liquid. And I wore these in the car on the way home, on my way home. We had to take 2 days to drive home. We stopped at my in-laws in Nebraska, and I wore Turquoise Water a lot because it's a little bit less offensive scent. I feel like it's really fresh and, like I said, non-offensive. This has got coconut water, honeysuckle, I think sandalwood. I'm trying to remember all the notes. To me, it just smells like the Caribbean Ocean, like you're walking along the Caribbean Ocean on the sand, and it's warm and sunny. It doesn't smell like sunblock at all. That's why I like it. I don't like sunblock scents. It smells a little bit marine, but hardly any. I think it's just the type of coconut water and a little bit of the honeysuckle that gets me in this one. Really love that. So I wore that both days driving home, and I did add a little bit of Mind Games The Forward, which is a citrus scent, and I don't generally do well with citrus, but this one works because it dries down to vanilla, sandalwood, and what else? Cashmere is in the base, and it does have a bit of a salty touch to it, but nothing overpowering, not like Olympia or anything like that. The Forward is just a gorgeous scent. I'm going to spray some on my wrist. Reacquaint myself with this. In the beginning, you get the pomelo, lemon, and mandarin orange. So it is citrusy in the beginning, but soon after it dries down, that citrus kind of goes away. And you get the salt and the tonka bean and the jasmine sambac. This is a beautiful citrus for me. One of my favorite citrus scents to date. So Mind Games just seems to do things really in a very sophisticated style that draws me to them. So these are the decants and samples and scents that I took on our trip. It was a wonderful trip. We got to do a lot of stuff. We packed a lot in 3-4 days and made some great family memories. And we got my son to the Black Hills. He got to see Mount Rushmore, which was fun to see his reaction. Seeing it for the first time, he was a little blown away, which was cool to see. We saw Crazy Horse, which is even bigger than Mount Rushmore, if you can believe it. I think it's 60 feet, the head of Crazy Horse. And the heads on Mount Rushmore, I think, are 40 feet tall. So that's a fun fact. And they are making progress on Crazy Horse. They've got a hand done where he's pointing towards Nebraska. And they have a great museum, tons of artifacts and interesting stuff in their museum. You could spend all day there at Crazy Horse, really. We spent about an hour, I would say, at Mount Rushmore, maybe, yeah, probably about an hour. I think we didn't walk around everywhere. It was kind of hot at that time. But then we also went on the Needles Highway. We went to Custer State Park, and we went to the Cosmos Mystery Area, which was kind of a gimmick, kind of silly. We went to Reptile Gardens just because on the last day we weren't sure what we wanted to do. We decided to do Reptile Gardens and Cosmos and just go to Lake Hill City instead of driving all the way up to Deadwood and Spearfish Canyon. We were really torn whether to drive up to Spearfish Canyon and Deadwood or just stay in the area, because it would have been like 5 hours in the car to go to Spearfish Canyon. Even though I really wanted to see it, we had to drive 7 hours the next day. So we thought maybe best not to spend 5 hours in the car that day. So hopefully someday we'll make it back to Spearfish Canyon, because I've heard it's beautiful, the waterfalls and the greenery, and it's like another world. It doesn't look like the rest of the Black Hills. But it was a nice drive home. We also drove home through Hot Springs. Didn't really stop, but saw the town. That's an interesting town up there with the history and the natural hot springs that are there. So if you make it up to the Black Hills, also Sylvan Lake, of course, where I worked, we went there and hiked around and took pictures. It's such a beautiful lake, such a beautiful area. So if you make it to the Black Hills, enjoy, and I hope you get to see a lot of the sights and just enjoy the natural beauty up there. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Tell me what scents you're loving right now, or what you would take on a trip like this. What makes you think of going to the Black Hills? What would you wear there? It was August, so it was kind of still hot, like I said, but right now we're getting some cool weather here, and I think they are too. So it's starting to feel more like fall, even though it's not technically fall yet. So we'll have to get into fall scents next in video. All right, thanks for joining me today. Hope you're all doing well, and I will see you next time.